Hey, it's Greg out here with MaritimeGardening.com. I thought I'd do one of those potato reveal videos that people like so much. So this is one of the garden beds that I built last fall. I did a video where I said, I think the title of the video was How to Build an Awesome Garden for No Money in 5 minutes or something like that. This bed and the one next to it over here, they're not hugelkultur beds, they're just beds I threw together very quickly. I built a little frame, threw a bit of manure down, put a whole bunch of mulch on top and just left it all winter long to sort of stew and compost and work. And then in the spring I planted some potatoes here. So let's dig these up and see what we've got here. I'm going to move the camera in a bit closer so you can see. Alright, so I'm going to start here and sort of work my way, or where am I going to start? I've already picked some from this corner here. And so I'm going to work my way back from there. I think I'm going to pick them all today. And what's interesting about this video is that the potatoes I grew here last year had blight, okay, in this particular bed, probably because the manure wasn't that well composted. You know, if you want to really reduce the odds of getting blight, use really well composted manure, whereas it was practically fresh horse manure, which wasn't the smartest thing in the world to do, but sometimes you just got to do stuff. Anyway, so this bed had, what's that called? Potato scab. These potatoes. Well, I'm just pulling these blackberries out here, and sorry if it's a bit windy. But I did a lot of reading, and everything I was reading suggested that the russet type of potato was more resistant to potato scab. And so I got a variety here from my sponsor Vessi Seeds. It's like a russet. I'll put the name of it up on the screen. I can't recall right now, but it's like a russet. And I can't speak to the whole bed, but the ones I've dug up thus far don't seem to have any sign of it. And I had it here in this bed last year. Last year I grew a soft potato, one with a really soft skin. I think it was the Superior variety. It's literally called Superior. And they're a wonderful tasting potato and all that sort of stuff, and they've got a really, a delicate skin. Everything I read is that those sort of tougher skinned russet types seem to be a bit more resistant to blight. And I've noticed the ones I pulled up out of here don't seem to have it. So I'm just going to grab a few out of here and show you up close. These ones aren't all that impressive, but I have been getting big potatoes out of here, so we'll see what we got here. Just move the mulch over, and when I'm digging up potatoes I just put the mulch aside. I don't want to really till it in. This kind of mulch isn't bad to till in, but certainly wood chips you wouldn't want to till them in. Everything I'm finding so far, there's no sign of potato scab on these. There's plenty of potatoes in here. I'll bring these over to the camera in a second. This variety of potato is the good kind for things like mashed potatoes. They make good French fries and stuff like that. My favorite potato is the red Norland, but these are great too. Another variety that has the properties of these are like a Kennebec. They're very similar to a russet. These might even be Kennebecs, but I don't think they are. I think they're the ones I got from Vessi's. Yeah, there's lots of them here. Okay, let me bring this a bit closer to the camera so you can see. Alright, so I don't know how good your eye is, but there is no sign of scab on these potatoes. And I had it in this bed last year. I'm not making this up. My contract with Vessi's, the sponsorship they have with me is for 2018. So if you buy potatoes in 2019, I'm not going to get anything from that. Just trying to speak to the legitimacy of what I'm going to claim. I'm really not, I don't really have anything to gain from telling you this. I'm just trying to help you if you've got a problem with that. And there's, you know, I guess another strategy from what I've read is to put sulfur in the soil to change the pH, right? Lowering the pH is supposed to be a way to deal with scab, but there's something about acidifying the soil that just seems a bit crazy to me. I like my soil, all my soil, to just stay around neutral, because then you can grow anything you want. So just choosing a variety that seems a bit more resistant seems to be the way to go. There's no scab here. Alright, so I'm going to pick the rest of these and speed the camera up, and we'll see how much we can pull out of this. Really, the potatoes start from about here over that. You know, 2/3 of this bed was potatoes. Let's see how much we got. That's interesting. So this must be a volunteer from last year's, interesting, very interesting. So this is a volunteer from last year's, I think this is a superior variety. See how they have this soft white skin? Here, I'll just, for contrast's sake, right, this is the more russet type. This is the superior, what they call superior, I believe. Could be Aramosa. Anyway, it's got this super soft white skin. Oh, look, scab. This is still edible and stuff like that, but they don't store well when they get stabbed like this, right? And when they have scab like this, they're far less resistant to pests that are in the ground. Things will bore into them and cause all kinds of nastiness, right? Sometimes you open these up and they're hollow on the inside and they've got gross things living inside of them. So just to show that it's not like this soil is free from the potato scab, I think it's a bacteria. It could be a fungus, but I think it's a bacteria. I'll confirm this on screen. It's not like the soil is free from that problem, right? There is still potato scab in the soil. It's the variety, right? This variety is safe. Seems to be resistant to it. This variety's got a kind of skin that it doesn't have much offer up much resistance. Because there's, look, you can see the scab, these little lesions, right? They're compromised. Still edible, but you can't store these. Another interesting observation. People are always asking me if I have voles in my garden. Look at that potato. Something's been chewing on that pretty serious, right? I would guess and it could be a vole or it could be mice. Certainly not rats. We don't have rats here. There's rats in this province, but they don't tend to be in the woods. They tend to be, you know, more in the urban areas and suburbs and stuff. And this is totally rural here. Anyway, something's been chewing on that. I'd say that's a vole or a mole or a mouse. Most likely a vole because they eat things like this. You see how unbelievably dry this soil. This soil is bone dry. But I still got a really good crop of potatoes out of it, and I haven't watered this all season. Not at all. All right, so there we go. There's a good, I would say 15 pounds of potatoes. Planting that variety seemed to help or solve. I really don't see any of these russet type potatoes. I think the variety is Burbank Russet. I'll correct myself in the editing if I'm wrong. I think they're Burbank Russet or Russet Burbank or something like that. I don't see any of these compromised with potato scab, not to my eye. Now it doesn't mean they don't carry it. Like if I were to save these as seed potatoes and plant them somewhere else where the soil is not compromised with the potato scab, with that in the soil, the microorganism that causes that in the soil. If I were to plant these somewhere else, they would put that microorganism into the soil, even though they don't seem to be affected by it. Right? So I really shouldn't save these as seed potatoes, or maybe I should just get totally zen about the whole thing and just assume that that's the situation in my garden. And any potato I want to grow for long-term storage is going to have to be this type of potato. As I've noticed on some of my Norlands and a lot of my the smooth skinned potatoes, I seem to have the odd bit of potato scab. And certainly on this volunteer that showed up of that superior variety, it's definitely got the scab for sure. It's still completely edible, but definitely not very pleasant to look at, and of course you have to peel it, whereas all I got to do with these is scrub them, which is easier. I like everything to be easy. So anyway, that's one solution to the potato scab problem, is to get a variety that just doesn't seem to be as bothered by it, or is at some level resistant to it. This garden here was dead easy to grow. I've harvested a few potatoes out here already, and I know I shot a video last weekend saying I picked a big bowl of potatoes and I said these will last us 2 weeks. They're all gone. They've been gone since Thursday, I think. We ate them all very quickly. Hopefully this is a bigger bowl. This is a good sized bowl, so hopefully this will last a little bit longer. We're going to make some potato salad tonight. These aren't the ideal. These are really good for potato salad, this superior variety. I find these russet type, I mean you can use them for potato salad, but I like the waxy kind, like Red Norland or Chieftain. I prefer them for a potato salad. But anyway, to each their own, chacun son goût, as they say in French. I'm getting off topic here. Easy potato garden. I planted these very late in the game, probably I would say mid-June perhaps. This is a fairly fast-growing variety. I think it's 70 to 80 days to maturity, something like that. Haven't done a thing here since I planted them. I just stuck them in the ground, put the mulch on, have done nothing. This is the work you're seeing me, that you just watched me do, is the only work I've done here since June. And I'm always talking about that because all I ever hear from people I run into day to day is, oh, I'd love to have a garden, but it's too much work. It's not too much work. If you use permaculture, it's not that much work. I haven't done a thing. I came out here for like 10 minutes and planted these a couple of months ago, and that's all I did. I've done nothing since then. So anyway, I hope you found that useful. I hope that gave you some good tips. Get a sort of, tough-skinned russet type. Doesn't have to be russet, just that. My guess would be anything that's like that. I'm guessing a Kennebec would work too, but anything that's got that sort of thick, dimpled sort of skin, must be, for whatever reason, just able to repel that microorganism from getting some sort of purchase in the potato. Because it seems to, I mean, the evidence is pretty obvious. There is scab in this soil, but these potatoes are, by and large, to my eye, unaffected. Oh, anyway, hope you found that useful. And if you did, please like, share, subscribe, and check out my podcast, maritimegardening.com. Until next time, get out there, get at it, have fun in your garden. Thanks for watching.